But now we come to the News Award, and this is for a single short news report that covers current affairs in a developing country. Let's see the nominees.
Ebola, the body collectors, Sky News.
Ebola claims another victim. That wailing's the sound not just of grief, but a community which knows it now has the virus amongst them, and they're all at risk. The body retrieval workers need a police escort. Their job is not a popular one. Mark's the head of Team 3, and you sense his frustration.
It happens every day. There's no day come that people don't die in a house. Every day, every blessing day.
And all his team tracking down the Ebola dead know every time they find someone like this, a victim who suffered in secret, it increases the chance of the virus spreading.
The human cost of the Qatari World Cup, BBC Two.
18-year-old Krishna tells me he hates where he lives and invites me to come and take a look, so long as we use a small camera so as not to get him into trouble. In the camp, where Krishna is the youngest, there's a communal kitchen where some 30 men take turns, and a foul-smelling washroom with 1 shower and 3 toilets. 8 men share a squalid room. They tell me there's no outlet for grievances. Trade unions are not allowed, and workers who go on strike are threatened with deportation.
The desperate struggle to save Iraq's Yazidis, ITN for ITV News.
After giving them food, the crew picked out a handful of people to take off this mountain. These were hard choices. And eventually it was too much for the pilot, who changed his mind. He would not countenance leaving any of them behind, and so they all rushed on board. Sadly, the first takeoff attempt failed. We were too heavy. 5 had to get off. The young men were the obvious choice. An older man said a stoic farewell to his family and went down the ramp.
Her favourite voice from Radio 4, I must confess, I am a Radio 4 addict. I've met Susan Ray, the gorgeous Scots-voiced announcer, but I've never met Neil Nunes, and I always wonder what they actually look like. So here to find out, here's Neil Nunes.
Good evening, everyone. It is a great honor.
Yeah, it's him.
It's a great honor to be here. Thank you so much, One World. I do actually spend quite a significant portion of my life in world news reading at the BBC World Service. And what never ceases to amaze me is we're told in this industry, are we not, that news is local. People are primarily concerned with what matters most to them. And then you have journalists who are able to take a foreign story and tell it in such a compelling fashion that they bring it home to us in a powerful way. And this always amazes me. And we could see that here in the 3 nominations that we have on screen. So I want to say congratulations to each of the nominees tonight. And so the winner of the News Award is the desperate struggle to save Iraq's Yazidis.
Thank you very much. It's easy, I think, sometimes to be cynical or even comical about the role of the foreign correspondent these days, but I think it's important to state that it's still, I think, a noble and important cause, and to bring stories like that, and indeed the Ebola story, into millions of homes and raise awareness of the issues is still an important and noble cause, as reflected recently in the DEC appeal for the Nepal earthquake, for which the powerful news reports from all channels were important in raising awareness and driving the fundraising to help improve people's lives affected by that disaster. I'd also like to praise Toby, our cameraman. Unfortunately, John can't be here tonight, but Toby is. Talking about new technology that John referred to a few minutes ago, Toby cut and edited that piece in half an hour, 40 minutes. Don't think he used an app to transmit it, but it was an incredible feat. It was skillful, and it just reaffirms for me that there is still a place, even though there's a world and a sea of content on the internet, unverified, verified material available on social media and so forth. There is still a place for skilled television journalists and camera operators, independent, trained, and brilliant at what they do, and they still do a very important job. So thank you very much.
I'll keep this brief. I know it's been going on a bit. I just want to say that I know that we all like to think that we make a real difference in what we do. We'd like to think that we do. But the people that tend to make the real difference, they never get to come here. And one of those is a guy called Majid Ansor, who was one of the pilots flying those choppers up to Sinjar Mountain. And the day after, we were at the helicopter base again when news came through that one of the choppers had crashed. And Majid was flying it, and he died in that accident. So as far as I'm concerned, Majid, this is for you. Cheers. Thank you.
Time now for the Documentary Award, sponsored by the Bertha Foundation. This award is for an outstanding documentary that deals with a story or an issue in a developing country. This year's nominees are
Every Last Child, Image Nation, Abu Dhabi.
Polio campaign chide tasu special day program da par legally da 12 hours program de pa har hafta ke har itwar bada programi mangla sarkar tankhara kai او کومنګه حلاله تنخالو نو مونږ jihad کوو چې چا سره خو کوي چا سره نیکیو کوي د چا ځان بچ کوي نو دا ستاسو jihad دی مونږ د خپل غفلت د لا سوال خورو غفلت مکوئ دلته د سروایول کولو د پاره جنگ دی ځان بم بچ کوي خپل ګروپ هم بچ کوي او کوشش وکوي عوام هم بچ کوي دا یو ورځ ډیوټي چې دا زموږ ذمہواری ده دا چې موږ په ښه شان وکړو نو دا سیس به کنټرول شي.
Miners Shot Down, Uhuru Productions.
It's the 16th of August 2012. Outside the Lonmin Platinum Mine in Marikana in South Africa, 112 striking miners are shot down by police. 34 die. Like many other South Africans, the shooting shook me to the core.
Virunga, Grain Media and Violet Films.
Moi, je peux à tout moment mourir dans une embuscade de ceux-là qui sont contre la protection du parc. Les gardes acceptent, dans des conditions très, très difficiles, acceptent de protéger ces parcs jusqu'à leur dernier sacrifice. 130 gardes sont morts en protégeant le parc national de Virunga. Je peux mourir. Je ne sais pas quand.
And now the person who's going to present this is from the Bertha Foundation itself. They are champions of social justice through the active use of media, the law and enterprise. I'm delighted to introduce Jen Robinson, Director of Legal Advocacy at the Bertha Foundation.
If only Jon Snow had taught me at high school. But thank you, John, and Channel 4 for your brilliant reporting on two issues very close to my heart, Sri Lanka and West Papua's struggle for self-determination. But it's an honour to be here tonight representing the Bertha Foundation. We are very proud to support this award. Storytelling through film is a powerful way to engage a diverse range of audiences and people in social justice issues. Long-form documentary film provides an opportunity to engage in a deeper way in a narrative and in the issues at stake. It engages people's empathy. It's an entry to empathy. It can be an effective way to build awareness and to engage people to act. As a human rights lawyer, I see time and time again that filmmakers and storytellers, many of you in this audience, have been able to create change and facilitate change that we as lawyers, despite our best efforts in the courtroom, couldn't possibly achieve on our own. The Bertha Foundation over the past 4 years has funded more than 200 documentary films, many of which have fundamentally changed the way that people see particular issues and have galvanised political and legal responses. This year, Citizen 4, Laura Poitras' film that we supported, won the Oscar, and two of the films you see tonight, Virunga and Mine Shot Down, are films that we've supported. I've had the privilege to work with those three films and many others to help these committed social justice filmmakers articulate and achieve the advocacy goals in their films. It's a highlight of my work at the Bertha Foundation and is part of the Bertha's theory of change, that we need lawyers, activists and brave storytellers like many of you to work together to create positive change and create a more just world. It's wonderful to work for a foundation with such a visionary founder who supports awards like this and films like these, and with such a radical approach to philanthropy, tackling the root causes in a trailblazing, collaborative and dynamic way. But tonight we're here to support three remarkable films and to celebrate them. Films that have educated us, that have moved us and inspired us to act. But I'm delighted to announce there can only be one winner. And I couldn't be more delighted to announce that it's Virunga.
Thank you, One World Media, again. We are utterly thrilled, really, really thrilled. And I have to say, this time we really want to say thank you to all the funders and partners, but I do have to give a big shout out to Bertha. They were one of the first funds in when we almost couldn't even tell them what the film was about. And to be that brave funder in the room that just says, yes, you have to do this and we believe you can do this is a huge thing, alongside the BritDoc Foundation. There are many other funders, partners, civil society groups, people that helped us. And tonight I just want to say a big shout out to our colleagues in journalism, because we released this film just over 1 year ago, and actually the response from the journalistic community, both here in the UK but all over the world, has been enormous. The story was picked up and run with and investigated further by everyone from Der Spiegel to the New York Times to the Telegraph, BBC, Channel 4 News, and the story is still going. SOCO International has now been faced with investigations from a string of media outlets and has still not dealt with the allegations put forward to them. In fact, just self-investigating and finding themselves not guilty of these allegations again and again. Now, I think we as a team would ask you just to continue to keep pushing on that story, because they are a real example of how a British corporation is abusing their opportunities in these countries that are very vulnerable. Now we're really looking to to the UK authorities, and particularly the Serious Fraud Office, to look at these allegations, because SOCO is clearly not willing or capable of doing it themselves. So thank you for this award.